The Magic Mike Show, where you hear the experts speak. The Magic Mike Show. Tune into the show every week. The Magic Mike Show. You can trust the show is the bomb because it's being brought to you by RacingDudes.com.
What is up, everybody? I think we're on the air. Hopefully we are.
Hey.
You know, we've been using StreamYard for I don't know how many years now. It seems like since COVID. I've never experienced it not working. It was literally not working. For 2 hours, I couldn't even get onto like the platform of the show. And now it seems to be back. If we disappear, if something happens, I do apologize. With that being said, Samich is here. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing good, man. It's funny because didn't think today would be a stressful day. It's been kind of a stressful day. Daughter's last day of first grade, so we had a half day, got a friend over, then StreamYard's not working. We're doing a bunch in the background for VSiN at the track tomorrow. Just a lot of stuff going on, and I want to watch the U.S. Open, and we're live in the late pick 5, the Belmont, the Big A, and now all of a sudden it's a stressful 40 minutes. What are you going to do?
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, I feel like I've been the same way today, just running around like crazy. It's like, this is an off week. What's going on?
Yeah. Why is it today happening right now?
Right. Means we're just on too many different things. That's what's going on. But yeah, listen, we're here. We're excited. We're going to go through the races a little bit quicker than usual, but don't worry. We'll still give you a lot of commentary and give you our picks as well. But we're a little bit late, so, you know, it is what it is. But before we get going, I do want to get your thoughts on the Belmont Stakes and everything that happened on Belmont Day at Saratoga, because I haven't even talked to you about this yet. If I did, I don't remember it because that could be possible. But what were your thoughts on the Belmont?
I thought it was a great race. I thought we saw, I was really impressed with Sovereignty. The time, obviously phenomenal. His final 2 furlongs, absolutely explosive. We saw that turn of foot I talked about quite a bit in his comeback race at Gulfstream, show up again there. Journalism got a great trip. He just wasn't good enough. Sovereignty was just simply better. I was surprised Baeza was so far back. I thought Baeza and Sovereignty would be flipped, and that I think really cost Baeza because he can't be chasing both Journalism and Sovereignty and expect to win. So was surprised by the positioning of Baeza in the race. I think that really hurt him. But it sets up for phenomenal back half of the year, right? I mean, to me, that was the main takeaway. We've got 3 very good horses. We've got clearly Sovereignty, the horse to beat. You've got Journalism, who is awesome. You've got Baeza, who I think continues to improve, and they've got to figure out how to get a little more speed into Baeza early to make him long-term be successful. Thought East Avenue ran well. I thought Burnham Square ran well, even though he lost that race. I think East Avenue kind of got the perfect trip and setup there. So I think it's a fun 3-year-old class. I'm hoping we get them all at Saratoga. I'm hoping the Haskell kind of sucks this year. Sorry, Monmouth. And we get everybody good in the Jim Dandy and or the Travers, and then they move on there to the Breeders' Cup Classic, which should be fun with the group of older horses we have, and then intermingling these 3-year-olds.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a great class, and I thought it was just an all-world performance by Sovereignty. I'm with you. Like, I was watching Journalism, and top of the stretch, I was like, wow, we're going to see something special. And I think we did. I think Journalism ran a great race and just got dusted by Sovereignty. Best race, I mean, it just miles more impressive than even the Derby for Sovereignty. I mean, that was like what a very good horse does. Like
he was under a hand ride and he went right by Journalism. Like he just engulfed him. And you like Alvarado was just like, yeah, I don't even need to really push this horse. He could have gone around again. It looked like it just tons of stamina. Like, and I'm wondering, and we don't need to get into the diatribe of this, but like, is this a bad thing for horse racing that Mott skips the Preakness and then wins the Belmont? And let's say this horse goes on to win the Travers and is competitive in the Classic. Is this now the framework of what you do with your Derby horse in the future? Is the Preakness just become an afterthought because of what we've seen now Sovereignty produce out of that Derby?
It's a weird situation where that is definitely possible, but you also in the same year have a horse that shows you it is possible to run 3 races in 5 weeks and the third one be your best, right? So without Sovereignty, if he, born a different year, let's say, Journalism would have won the Triple Crown, and he showed you that it's possible, where Sovereignty is also probably going to tell you, or not tell you, show you, oh, that way is pretty good too, because he was awfully cool or awfully impressive here, and he's probably going to be impressive down the road as well. So I don't know the answer. I don't want to think about it.
It'll be fun. I mean, it's just another talking point inside horse racing. I don't think anything changes. But I do think it's a very interesting discussion point that's going to come up from this, especially next year. And we'll see what happens if someone does decide to skip the Preakness again for the Belmont after winning the Derby.
Yep. No, I'm with you. I think it's good, something that's gonna build and build and build, especially with how successful he was. But again, the major reason why Sovereignty was so successful is he looks like a beast of a horse right now,
Yes.
and is just getting really, really good at the right time. So,
Triple Crown, 100% would have won.
yeah.
I mean, you can't say 100% obviously because there's another race in there, but like he got the trip in the Preakness, or he would have gotten the trip in the Preakness, where I think he would have been a heavy favorite in that race. And then the simple question would be, could he come back that quickly to Saratoga and run this race? We'll never know the answer, but it feels like he would have won the Preakness, and then it would have just been a turnaround question.
God, strong and as big as that horse looked in person, I don't think it would have been a problem. He came out, dude. He came out, and it was like, whoa. He could make two of journalism, and journalism's not a tiny horse by any means.
No,
African Sovereignty is a big, big horse, and you could really tell in the stretch when they got together. It's like, oh my gosh, he's huge. So, and look, a lot of times a horse that size, they don't have that kind of speed like that that he showed. So, he's a monster. I mean, it's not very often. It does happen, but it's not very often where I look at a race and go, the horse I picked ran maybe even better than I thought and still got beat. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, what do you do? Everything went fine. So anyway, all right.
Nothing.
Yep. Yeah. You just keep beat. All right. We got to go because we came out of here a little bit late because of our software issues. So let's do it. We're going to do Santa Anita today. We're going to do Santa Anita races 8 through 12, the late pick 5 on Saturday. We went to Santa Anita, 1, because there's not a lot of standout racing today or Saturday, and 2, we don't want to do a show that doesn't happen because that's what happened last week. Believe it or not, the Belmont didn't have a pick 5 after like the second one on the card. So we didn't want to mess with that. So we know the weather will be good here. So let's do the call to post and let's get you going at Santa Anita. Sunny skies on that bugle, something we just don't see very often, I feel like, anymore. It's been a wet one, wet spring into the summer. All right, let's go Santa Anita. Let's go race 8. It's a $32,000 claiming race going 6 furlongs on the turf. We've got a field of 7 to kick us off. I'll let you go first. Sam, what you like in this one?
I'm going to go with the number 2. What makes Sammy Run on top here? I think this is a really interesting race. 6 furlongs over the grass, as you mentioned. I usually want to look for horses that have a little bit of early speed, but you look through here and the Noble Reflection, the 1 definitely going to go. I think the 4 Sharp as Attack involved in the pace here. You've got the 6 Henry's on the Fly, who has a 34 and change workout last time. Feels like he's probably sending. And then the 7 Ostrich Creek is 100% sending. So yeah, give me the horse who I think is probably the best from off the pace. I actually considered the 3 Commander here as well, but I think the 2 gets a just catbird seat trip, much like the race 2 back where 1 going this distance at this level. So I'll take the 2. What makes Sammy Run on top? 7-2.
7-2 on What Makes Sammy Run. Going to be your first horse on the ticket. That was the first horse I put off the ticket, so that'll be the winner there. So make sure to just to use the 2 to get this thing started. Look, I went number 4 Sharp as Attack on top in this spot. It's kind of the same reason why you used the 2. I used the 4. I think what's going to happen here, I think this one's going to sit just off the pace, just a little bit, maybe a couple links off of it, and I think get a nice little first run at those leaders. So Sharp as Attack for me with a top horse on here. Kind of been a horse that's been running against tougher, now gets into the claiming company for the first time in his career, and I think that's going to be very beneficial. This is a horse, though, that if he was in a race where there wasn't a ton of speed, he would be able to take him gate to wire, but he's shown in his last several he can sit off a little bit. So number 4 Sharp as Attack for me on top. I used 2. That was the first one.
Yeah, I used 2, and Sharp as Attack was the second one for me. All the reasons you stated, dropping down in class. I think it obviously should fit the class very well. 1 for 1 going over this specific distance. It's at Santa Anita. 2 for 6 at Santa Anita altogether. So he likes the track. And if there's any of the speed that can rate, the 4 Sharp as Attack is the speed that can rate, right? That doesn't have to have the lead to win. It feels like Noble Reflection, Henry's on the Fly, and Ostrich Creek all need the lead. Sharp as Attack, I think, can sit behind them or sit behind 2 of them and still be the best down the lane. I almost used the 3 Commander too, because this is your dead closer in a field that has a bunch of speed in it. But I couldn't quite get to the 3 at 12-1 as well.
Well, the 3's been defeated by the horse that you used, the 2, a couple of times. And so I think that's kind of a good sign. It's like, hey, I didn't use the 3, but I do have the one that's been beating him. So I get it on this one. All right. Make fun of me all you want. I used the number 1 Noble Reflection. That was the second horse on the ticket for me. Look, here's the deal. I think his draw is really good. Just going to try to cut the corner there going from the rail going 6 furlongs. 1 at the 7 doesn't quite get out there. I didn't think the 1 has got a big advantage. So I put number 1 Noble Reflection as second horse on the ticket. Just going to go too deep here. And again, I understand there is other speed in the race, but I do think his draw of the rail, if he can outbreak everybody else, maybe he just gets up there and gets the job done. Another one taking a drop down in class, so I think that's kind of the theme of this race when you look at these horses. So, yeah, I went 1-4. You went 2-4. Anybody else you want to talk about?
No, I would have used the 1 and the 3 if I went any deeper in here. 3 than the 1. I didn't want to use the 1 and the 4 because of the 2 favorites. That was one of the main reasons I stayed away from the 1. I also don't think there was much of an excuse last time. The trainer's pretty good, off the claim 33% with a nice price, or nice ROI. So I don't hate the use on the 1, but I just didn't want to use 2 or shorter prices, especially when I do think it's going to be tough for a horse to go gate to wire. And that's clearly the 1's path here, is to go gate to wire. Also, recently has been better going down the hill at Santa Anita than going around one turn. So we'll see if that makes a difference for Noble Reflection.
All right, so we'll see what happens here. I think it's going to be very interesting to get this thing started. Hopefully the 4 wins and we both survive. That happened, that's happened to us a little bit here lately. I feel like we'll be like 1 similar horse out of 3, and that horse that's similar has been winning. So hopefully that keeps going. All right, let's go to the 9th race on the card here. It's going to be a maiden special weight on the dirt going 7 furlongs. It's a field of 8 here. $60,000 the purse. I went short again here. I'm not sure what you did, though, so I'll let you go first.
I went short as well, and my guess is we use the same 2 horses. I have the 4 Sierra Silver on top. Not much explanation needed here. It's a Baffert who I think is clearly the fastest horse. The 1 Cleaver is going to be your other horse that I think takes money, 2-1 on the morning line. Kind of feels like Sierra Silver covers Cleaver. Like you don't have to use both. Or Cheever, I'm sorry. So it doesn't feel like you have to use both of those horses. And I think the 4 is better than the 1. So for me, the 4 on top. And then I'll use the other Baffert, because if anyone in this race is able to beat the Baffert, I think it's the first time starter one more time to right to his outside, and you get an 8-1 price. So for me, this was actually a pretty easy race because I didn't really like anybody outside of the 1 or the 4 that has run. And the 5 is clearly your best first time starter in my mind. So I just wanted to use the 4, who I think covers the 1. So no reason to use both. And then the 5, who I think has an opportunity as the first-time starter to possibly get the lead. And if that's the case, all of a sudden, it could be a tough situation for Sierra Silver, who has run well in 2 starts and been defeated in both of those.
Yeah, we'll make it boring, but we'll make it easy. I use the same 2, the 4 and the 5. I was with you. I didn't want to use the 1 because I'm going to use the 4, and I just think that's a better horse. You look at the 4 Sierra Silver, got beaten by 3 3/4 to Goal Oriented, a horse that obviously is pretty nice horse, ran okay in the Preakness. And then last time out, Southern Gentleman's not too bad of a horse either. I thought Sierra Silver ran pretty well there. So good spot. And like you said, there's really nobody to be all that excited about. But I was with you. I'm not going to let the quote unquote other Baffert, who is a first time starter, beat me in this spot. I'm just not going to let that happen. You look at the number 5 one more time. Workouts, they've been okay. Breeding is okay. It's nothing great, but the horse should have speed. And like you said, if the horse can get out in front, who knows in this spot, because these horses are, they're just not great other than the 4 and the 5. So anybody else you thought about even?
I looked at the 6 a little bit. Poor connection, 6-1 for Michael McCarthy. Hector Barrios was riding. Mike Smith was on debut. I don't love Mike Smith on debut horses unless they're super fast. And this horse was not super fast. And so I like the jockey switch here to Barrios. Gaming won that race. Pretty good horse, right? The one on debut won by 15 lengths in that spot. I think, also drew the 9 and 9 post is not wonderfully a first start. I think this horse has a chance to take a big step forward. I don't know if it's a big enough step to compete with the 4. That's why I didn't use the 6 poor connection. But if I'm playing like, I don't know, I'm probably not playing supers in this race. But if I was, the 6 would make the ticket.
Yeah, he's kind of, you're looking at that one that's what's the projected improvement, and he's definitely the one that has it. Because, like I said, coming out of that race on August 11th out at Del Mar, you're going to run better off of that one. I thought the 3 was kind of interesting, just second start. Maybe the horse runs better. Kind of one that's got a decent amount of breeding behind him, but you kind of look at the works since that race. He had one that was pretty sharp. Maybe he's going to turn it around, but again, I think you're right. I think you're going to go outside the box there. You go with the 6 Poor Connection. I looked at the 7, the 8 for a while to see, is there anything here? And I just don't see much. 7 had a couple bullet works, but just really nothing to get you too excited. And Peter, not great with first time starters either. So I couldn't get there.
Yeah, the Urton issue with the first time starters was a problem for me on the 7. Maybe the 8 if you wanted. Like the 8 authentic stands for 15,000. The horse sells for 360. So clearly there's talent, and Rispoli riding is another positive. Papa Giorgio 13%, but a positive ROI. So I mean, maybe you could make a case at a crazy price for the 8. And on the 3 penalty box as well was 9-2 when facing Sierra Silver and Sheaver the last race. So did get bet into both of those horses. So maybe the 3 comes back a little bit better today.
All right, let's get to, I guess, no doubt, this will be the main event of the sequence here. Raced in on the card, it is the Grade 3 Daytona Stakes, 6.5 furlongs, $100,000 the purse here. Should be a pretty good race. Field of 8. We do have the big favorite, number 7, Motorious, in this race. Samich, where are you going in this one?
I went, so I'm going to go 3 deep here in this spot, and I'm going to start out with the 2-horse Bran on top for Sadler and Rispoli. 9-2 on the morning line here. The horse that has enjoyed going down this turf course. So 2 for 7 going down this turf course. And you look back at the race, the Eddie D, the Grade 2 there, lost to Lane's Way by a half length, sitting off the pace, being able to stalk. I like the trips down this specific track where a lot of times going down the hill, you're seeing this horse either be very close to the pace or just off of it and being able to pounce. I think Brand gets a really nice setup today because of horses like Goliad that's going to be out there and going to be burning it early. I think Lovesick Blues is probably trying to show some early pace, and I think that benefits Brand, who sits right behind them. So I'll take Brand at 9-2 here, second off the layoff in his 7-year-old season.
Yeah, I did not use Brand, but it's definitely one I thought about, and you do like those races on this course in the past, so would not be shocked at all. I went 3 deep in this spot. I use the number 3 Goliad first. Look, I do think this might be a bit short for this horse. I do know that some of these races on the downhill haven't been the best for him, but when he raced on those, he wasn't doing all that well anyway. I feel like he got better later on in his career. He is 8 years old now. Last time out in the Shoemaker, that was too much he just needed a race, basically. Too much for him. I thought he would run better second out. I didn't really think he'd be in this spot, but then you kind of handicap this race. You're like, wow, he is kind of loose here. I don't see a whole lot of other speed. I think he's going to get to the front. So number 3 Goliad for me. That's the first one I put on. I think he's got a shot to take him gate to wire. Got to improve at this distance, no doubt about it. But Mandela's no idiot. I think he feels like this horse can do it. So number 3 Goliad for me was first horse on.
I did not use this horse. This is one of the ones I left off that I thought logical, right? It definitely could win, but I look at those down the hill efforts and they're bad. I mean, they're just straight up bad. And he's been successful at a mile, and he wants the lead at these 6.5 distances, and he's having to run a second faster in that first 2 furlongs than he is having to go when he's going the mile. And that, I think, is really wearing him down late. And you see him just fading when he's going down the hill, even though he's holding it a mile. And I think the main reason is just the increased fractions. And he just isn't built to go that fast, that early. And so I'm willing to try and pass on a horse here that's sitting on the 7-2 morning line, especially since I do like the 7 Motorious. He's going to be the second horse on my ticket here, 6-5 on the morning line. Just makes a ton of sense against this field. You can point to, 5-6 races that definitely wins this. Has had success going down the hill. He's 3 for 5 over this course, coming off of a win in a Grade 2 coming down the hill, which was in a great field. And that's really the knock on Motorious. Like, the wins he has aren't over great fields, but at the same time, he is very successful going down this turf course. And he does have the best pure numbers of anybody in this spot. So I'll start it out with 2-7, and I'll try and fade the 3. I assume you use the 7 Motorious?
Yeah, Matore's second on the ticket for me. And I'll just kind of echo what you're saying. He's certainly over this course is good. He's good anytime he's in Southern California and he's sprinting. You almost have to use him. And you mentioned, he said the knock on him is a lot of his wins aren't against those great of fields. This is not that great of a field, so that's good news for him, right? I mean, this is kind of the race he wins. My only, honestly, why I didn't single him? My only kind of pause or worry, or however you want to phrase it, he is getting older. Last year, he came off of a 182 day layoff, and he didn't run well. Now, he ran in a much tougher race, and it wasn't at his home track. So I get it, right? But he is coming off a 168 day layoff. Maybe he needs a race. Maybe he's not quite as good as he's going to be after this first one off the bench. So that was my only pause for concern. But yeah, I mean, he's the class of the field. He totally deserves to be 6-5. That was just my only little worry about him.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I kind of feel like if you're going to beat a 6-5 shot, he's the one to try and beat in this sequence, because I do think that there are horses that could take him down. So I think that's a positive. On more positive news, 12 horse just won the last Belmont at the Big A. Nice little 1,500 bones for the Sama Bombs there. Pick 4 and pick 5 on the late side of it. So
if you're not purchasing these or a subscriber to these, you've left a lot on the table the last few weeks. It's been a good run for you.
It's been a good 3 weeks now. It's been a very good 3 weeks. So I think it was like 8,500 last weekend at Saratoga when you added it all up, and now another 15 here, and we hit the weekend before as well. So hopefully we can stay hot. Seeing New York well right now. Hopefully we can just keep it that way. Yeah, pick 5 cashes for just under $1,100, and the pick 4 cashes for just under 400. So happily take both of those after a slow start to the card. Pick 6 carryover as well. Probably could have. No, I did not have the one in the first leg of the pick 6. But yeah, no, definitely a good day over there at Belmont at the Big A. Last horse on for me, 5 horse, stay hot here. And this is one which I looked at for a long time and couldn't decide what to do with. This is a horse that's been going a mile and a 6 or mile plus in the last, 7-8 races now. For Peter Urton, and run well in all of them. I mean, multiple wins, clearly likes going longer. But you go back to the 6.5 furlong race in the Baffle early in the 3-year-old season. This horse debuted going down this turf course and won. And on that debut, set a career best buyer at the time. A lot of reasons to think this horse can sprint. And now you're going back to a turf course where the 5 horses won before, and going to then try and, obviously would have to reestablish that career high buyer. But why don't we think the first start at 4, this horse couldn't be able to do that? And it's a summer front, war front horse. So there's clearly turf sprinting pedigree in here. The last workout specifically, very good. Goes 58-2, a bullet work on June 2nd. This horse has won off the bench. This horse has won on this turf course. This horse has shown it can sprint, and it got better all last year. I'll take a little shot here with Stay Hot at 6-1. Love that Hernandez ends up here as well. I think that is a good sign, considering Hernandez rode this horse in the Grade 2 Mathis Mile last time out before the break. Losing the King of Gosford, by the way, also a very good horse.
Absolutely a good horse. Yeah, a horse that that was the one that came back and won. What was that, like 3 or 4 weeks ago, right?
Yep.
Yeah, really good race there. That was seems like end of May. They ran in that one. Anyway, I'm with you. I put the 5 on as well. I went 3 deep as well, and the 5 was the third horse on the ticket for me. Here's another interesting thing that when I was handicapping it, just kind of something random. This is like an old man's convention, except for the 5. Like, all these horses are 7 and 8 years old. The 5 is a 4-year-old. So it is kind of interesting that I don't know if that really means anything or not as far as handicapping goes, but it's just kind of a chuckle of, wow, this is a little bit of a younger horse going up against these experienced ones. But yeah, I'm with you. All the things you said make sense. This is a pretty classy horse, running very, very well as a 3-year-old in some of the tougher races out here. So I think this is a good spot. I'm with you. Love that Hernandez is aboard as well. When Hernandez rides for Urton, it is the numbers are really, really good. So yeah, I'm with you. I think the 5 going to be tough in here as well. All right. So you went 2-5-7. I went 3-5-7. Anybody else you want to talk about before we move on?
I looked at the 1 for a long time. Air Force Red, second off the layoff. Another 7-year-old has had success over this track, likes go downhill, like Santa Anita, but kind of feel like I cover Air Force Red with Brand and Matorius, so that's why I didn't end up on the ticket. But if you wanted to spread out a little more here, if you're singling somewhere else, the 1 would have been the next on for me.
I would agree with that. Yeah, it's a classy horse. Like I said, another one of these 7-year-olds, 2 races back did win a race kind of similar to this, over this course. So makes sense. That's yeah, that's pick fours and pick fives in a nutshell. Sometimes you got to throw out horses that maybe you don't want to, and that could be one there. So yeah, I'm with you. I've got respect for that one as well. All right, let's go to race 11, and this is something. Race 11 here going to be we go from a grade 3 stakes race to a $5,000 claimer on the dirt here. Field of 10, one also eligible. Big purse of 15,000. This is where Husker Butch used to run for 15,000. All right, Samich, who you got in this one?
Yeah, nothing like the restricted claimers, right? Not the restricted bottom level claimers. So this race, this is just kind of real quick handicapping aside. Post position matters a ton going a mile, especially at this level at Santa Anita. Like if you have a post switch from outside to inside, it makes a big difference. Like just like inside to outside, especially if you have early speed, because you see so many of these horses go into that first turn 4, 5, 6 wide. They're done. They have zero chance. So you got to keep that in mind when you're handicapping these races. You'll see price fluctuations because of it, and that'll matter when I talk about a horse here in a little bit. Top pick for me here. Give me the number 3, Brother O'Brien. I thought the last race was phenomenal, especially considering what this horse had to deal with. I just mentioned how hard it is to win from those outside posts. This horse was 3 wide and 4 wide on the first turn, was wide on the second turn, was still able to overcome all of that and win. Was at this level and was claimed at this level 2 back as well. Trainer, not a well-known trainer, Javier Sierra, just 1 for 4 at the meet, 2 for 10 for the year. But when he claims, he is 1 for 3 with a $5.73 ROI. Carmona is his rider that he uses pretty much exclusively. Used him all 4 times in the 4 Santa Anita races. So switching from Hernandez to Carmona, not a huge issue for me here. That last race is good enough to win this. And you've got 1 or 2 back that are good enough to win it as well. So give me the 3, Brother O'Brien here. 9-2 on the morning line is the top pick.
All right. Top pick that I did not use the 3, Brother O'Brien. We're going to be all over the place in this one. This is a crazy one. I have some stupid ones probably, but we'll see. I put number 5, Devil in the Bluegrass on top. This is a horse that won at this level 2 races back. Ran pretty good last time out, moving up just slightly from 5K to 8K. I like this horse because he can get the lead or get close to the lead, but he's not headstrong. Like he's naturally, for this level I'm talking about, kind of fast. I like that he can kind of just sit off of it and then try to make a little bit of a run at him. I like said, I like that, he was able to win at the distance and at the level 2 back, and then ran pretty well, like I said last time out. Just the consistency being around here, showing that he's kind of classy for this level and shows up with a decent effort every time. So I like the number 5, Devil in the Bluegrass. I'm going 4 deep, but this is the first horse on for me.
Last horse off the ticket for me, the 5 here. And one of the reasons, and I mentioned the post position draws here, this horse has drawn the rail so many damn times. If you look back through his career, and those last 2 races at Santa Anita were both on the rail. And this style of horse, that matters. The fact that like there is some speed to the inside. I don't think he's faster than the 4. And so like all of a sudden, I don't know the trip the 5 gets. And I think you had a beneficiary trip the last 2 races, and now you're going to a more murky trip. I don't know if we get the best effort out of the 5. I'm not sure we can replicate one of those races out of the current post position that you're seeing. So I decided to leave the 5 off. Second pick for me was the 9, JB Books. It's just the most logical horse in the race. I don't think there's really any other way to put it. It has been running against better. This is a clear drop in class. This horse, the numbers are good enough to win. If you look at the times, they're better than what most of these horses have been facing. Was 24-1 and 10-1 against better the last 2 races. Just basically draw a line through the last one too if you want to. But the race 2 back probably good enough to win against this field. Don't love the post, but do think this is just your best horse. I think if JB Brooks brings the A race, it will be tough for anyone to beat him.
I'm a little okay. So I use the 9 second as well. The one thing, and I'm a little concerned. Does he get a little too far back, at this level? It is a little bit of a worry for me, but I'm right. Or I agree, I should say. The race 2 back, the starter allowance there at Santa Anita, that's probably the race that's good enough to win here. It was at a mile, earned a 91 time for him, which is, that's tops amongst this group. So I think that's the one for sure. But, you do kind of worry, boy, if this horse gets a little bit too far back, it's a lower level horse. maybe he just can't make up the ground. That's why I put him in second. But yeah, I've got the 9 on there as well. I'll go ahead and say my third horse and let you laugh at it. What about the number 4 Royster? Isn't this horse loose on the lead? I think so.
Probably. I mean, this is another one I looked at for a while. Like, yeah, if he gets loose, he's really dangerous. The problem is, I don't know what the heck happened last race, and I don't know if this is because it was the first race in 2 years. I don't know if it's because this horse just isn't good anymore. But didn't go fast, didn't get the lead, and just didn't even make it a half mile. Right, like that was just so. Now again, first start in 2 years at a low level. Yeah, I understand you can make arguments as to why that happened. At 12-1, I wouldn't talk you off this horse in this race, but I have too many questions to include this horse, if that makes sense.
No, that makes total sense. And I do think that last race was pretty putrid, but I just kind of feel like, you run that race and then you see, and they're like working him out and they're trying to get him fit. And it's kind of like, they're not giving up on him. So they kind of, somebody, whether it be the owner or the trainer or whatever, feels like this horse can still do it. So at 12-1 in a terrible race, and in a race where he is projected to be the lone speed, I'm willing to give him one more shot. If he's in anything that's a little better, probably not. But in this spot, if he can get back to who he was, he can win. So I did use the number 4 Royster as a third horse on. How about you?
Yeah, I won't make fun of you for him. The horse that so if I was playing tournaments, I'll probably play tournaments on Saturday. I'm going to use the 2. I'm really interested in Sugar Beats, which is 10-1 on the morning line. I think this is a sneaky horse. I mentioned the post positions and how important they are at Santa Anita. If you look at the 2 races that this horse ran back at Santa Anita on January 5th and February 2nd, drew the 5 of 8 and the 7 of 9. Both of those were terrible posts for this horse. The first race, the race on January 5th, had a ton of issue at the start, had to check early around the first turn, was forced wide, was at a higher level because it wasn't restricted, was 3-1 against that field. Comes back on February 2nd, draws a 7 of 9, tries to show early speed, is 6 wide on the first turn, and then 4 wide on the second turn, and doesn't have much of a run, but you're never going to have a much of a run when you get that style of races. Now we draw the 2 post for a horse that I'm not going to say is fast, but is not slow against this group. Should get a significantly better trip. Pereira is actually the best jockey when Manuel Badilla goes to him. He's 2 for 9 with him with a 22% win percentage, so pretty good there. I think the 2 is kind of sneaky here, specifically because of those last 2. And you go back and the races at Golden Gate are good enough to win. The Mile 16th at Sacramento is good enough to win. The races at Fresno are good enough to win. Why can't we find one of those races for Sugar Beats today and get home at 10-1?
Yeah, I won't make fun of you for that one either, because I thought about that one for a while, looked at him for a long time. I couldn't get there. But I think this is a situation where a layoff is really going to help this horse. He was just running and running and running and running. And it's like, this one needs a break. And again, with these cheaper horses, especially when they get older, when they bring them back, it does tell something to me, at least. It does kind of just signal, look, they still like him. They just thought he needed a little break or maybe had a little issue. So, yeah, I could see it. I didn't use him, but again, I can see why you make a case for him. So, all right, last horse on for me was the number 7 American Empire. It's totally just a class relief. This horse has not been good on the dirt. I will acknowledge that immediately, but this horse has been running against much tougher runners on the turf, or whether it be on synthetic as well. This is the bottom of the barrel. This could just be just throw him in there and we'll see what he does type of horse. But he is definitely the classiest one here. So I took the 7 American Empire, 4th horse on the ticket for me.
It's a wild card. He sucks on the dirt. Yeah. We'll see if he doesn't suck on the dirt today against bad horses. That's the biggest question mark, right? And it's an unknown. Because the turf races, if you run back to those, is good enough to win. But he's never run anything close to those turf races on dirt. So we'll see if this works out for him.
Yeah. Made me think of this before we go on to the last race. What did you think of Nitrogen's running on the dirt on Saturday at Saratoga?
I thought he was awesome.
Okay.
I don't know if I would move him to the dirt like everyone's saying. Okay. He is bred to handle the dirt. Let's all take a step back. That was a speed favoring dirt track at the time against really bad horses on the dirt in a 3-horse field. I realized it was impressive, but we don't really, we don't really know how good nitrogen is on the dirt. I wouldn't be shocked if they try him on the dirt because he clearly can handle it. I think he is just like a cheat code for Saratoga turf stakes races, right? Because if it gets taken off, he rolls, and if it stays on, he's got a very good chance at winning, right? So like I think he's the cheat code for Saratoga graded stakes.
It's funny with that when Cassie left that horse in, I was like, yeah, that horse is gonna roll. Like you don't run a horse like that unless you've seen that it can handle it. So anyway, I don't know why, but we were talking about that 7. I just made me think of I wanted to ask you. All right, let's go to the last race.
Real quick.
Yeah.
The 11. If the 11 gets in, any interest?
Ooh, good question. And that's one. Yes.
Yeah, I'm yes too, but I'm worried about the post. But that would like if I lose one of my horses, the 11 probably makes the ticket if he's in.
I would agree with that. It's a horse second off the layoff, a horse that's been running against tougher. It is a negative drop of like hell. Let's just see if we can get a win somewhere. But yeah, no, I mean he's got class over this field for sure.
This is Ryan. This is Santa Anita Saturday, late pick 5. So races 8 through 12, Santa Anita Saturday card.
All right. Yes. And with that being said, let's get to the 12th race. It is a maiden special weight for California breds on the turf going 1 mile. Field of 12 here with 2 also eligibles as well. Tough race to get this thing ended. I went 4 deep here. It looks like you went 4 deep here. So I'll let you kick us off.
I'm going to go too logical, too crazy. How's that sound?
I love that. I love that.
Logical first pick here, the number 10 California Rocks, second time off or second start of the career. This horse didn't show a ton of speed going a mile the first time, broke kind of in the middle of the pack, didn't get a great start, got jostled. So I think, especially considering we have a bullet work on June 7th, this horse is closer to the pace. I liked how the horse closed. I think you learn a lot from that first race. Really well-bred horse, grandson of Galileo, rock hard 10 on the bottom side. So like, again, distance turf, none of that should be a problem for this horse that still ran home fairly well, all things considered, in a race where it was dead last on the first turn, got up to 6th at the top of the stretch, but then passed everybody on the way home. I think this 10 is really interesting with a little bit better of a break. I like the price at 8-1 here for the second time starter as well.
All right. Not one I used. Man, that's happened like 3 times on the show. Your top pick I didn't use. Probably not good. All right. Let's go to my top pick here.
I wouldn't fade me right now.
well, we're not at Naira, so I'm not worried about it.
That's fair. I wouldn't fade me at Naira. Good point.
I certainly will not. No, I'm just going to copy what you do from now on at Naira until you prove otherwise. All right. The 12 Ride Elbow Ranch. That's who I put on top in this one. I am concerned about the post position, but I think the horse has enough speed to kind of get out of there. And as long as breaks well, we'll kind of get a good position. So I'm not overly concerned. I think it's the second fastest horse in the race. So Ride Elbow Ranch, last time out, first start on the turf. Thought it was a really good effort. And that was going 6.5. Now we're going a mile. I don't think that'll be a problem for this horse. I like Mark Glatt. Obviously, I think he's one of the better trainers out there. Frezu, for right now, this is a jock that's pretty good out there in Southern California against this colony. So the 12, first horse on the ticket for me.
Other logical for me is the 12. So 10, 12 were the first 2 that are logical, not the 2 crazy ones. I agree with everything you said. It is just an improving horse. Post position's obviously the big issue, but I'm kind of against the 1 and the 8. And so I don't mind putting on the 12 in this post position with the 7-2 price because I am not going to use the 1 or the 8 in this spot. I'm going to try and find a couple other creative horses to go after.
With that being said, I'm going to use the 8, Rye Gold,
Yep.
the second horse on this. Look,
you were
really
4 to 5 to use this horse. No, that's not. You're 2 to 5 to use this horse.
Well, look, I like to pick horses that win, so I would have picked this horse. No, listen. He should have won, or she should have won last time out. I'll just say that right after that. And
she should have won 2 back.
Yes. Now I will say, even last time out was worse, I thought, because she kind of set the same kind of pace that I think she can set in this spot and still get the lead. You got to finish the race. Only got beat a neck. Did stretch out. That was first time going long. So second time going long, maybe she holds on. Going to be frustrating if she doesn't get it done again. But yeah, I did use the 8 Ride Gold. I think this horse is got the best shot, of the race to win, because I do think, look, take him gate to wire, hold on this time, and you get the job done.
Yeah, if you don't want to use one of my crazies, the 8 would have been the horse I'd use. I'm against the 1. Hello, kiddo. Like, if the 1 wins, that's fine. The 1 could totally logically win. The numbers fit. I get it. I think the 1's had enough chances, and eventually we'll find the field that Hello, kiddo can beat. I just don't want to be betting the horse when you're getting, like, it's going to get bet down from 9-2. So that to me was the one I would leave off. If you don't want to use one of my 2 crazies, throw the 7 on. It makes sense. First crazy horse for me. Give me the number 6 horse, Pure Chaos here. James Cassidy, first time starter. Sir Prancelot on the breeding. It's one of the favorite sires that I have to play, especially at Santa Anita. The horse has been working out consistently and working out well. You've got a good gate workout 5 back. Sir Prancelot scores at 16%. First-time starters on the turf. That's phenomenal. The dam hasn't raced, or the dam is out of Quality Road, which gives you a little bit more. You don't have a ton of data on Cassidy just because of the lack of starters, but he is 1 for 2 at the meet, 1 for 3 for the year. I think this horse is going to be able to handle the turf. The question is it going to be ready first time out for Cassidy? At 15-1, I'm willing to find out, especially in a field that there ain't any world beaters in here.
No, there's certainly not. I think that's a good enough pick for sure. I had a crazy one on 3rd, so I'm curious to see what you think of this one. What about the number 2, Royal Dusty? This horse debuted on the dirt, going 6 furlongs, pretty solid connections. Was bad for sure. Now quickly to the turf, stretching out. I think that fits this horse a lot better when you look at the breeding, when you look at, how this horse has been working. I just feel like, this horse showed a little speed in that race going 6 furlong. If we can kind of get positioning, get 3rd or 4th or 5th right around in there, maybe this horse is going to do a lot better on the turf. Like I said, Pipey, pretty good trainer. Cabrera, pretty good jockey. I thought this in a race, like you said, with no world beaters, I thought the 2 Royal Dusty made a little bit of sense.
Last horse on my tickets, number 2, Royal Dusty. This one I do think makes a little bit of sense. You look at the breeding, Smiling Tiger, not phenomenal, just 5% turf sire. But if you look at what Pipey does, 25% with first-time turf starters. He's also 11% second-time starters. You go back, you watch that race, it's not as bad as it looked on paper. The horse kind of broke in a little bit of a tangle. At one point in the race, got cut off again down the lane, and then just kind of stopped trying because of all of that issue. I wouldn't be shocked if this is a better turf horse and now gets to switch over to a surface where Pipey is better at training, specifically first time for the turf. I think this is another one where I would not be surprised at all if this horse takes a big step forward. And again, not a ton of world beaters. We said it a couple times in this race. Like, this race is ripe to be upset. And I think the 2, second time out, carrying the low weight, all of these reasons, especially with Pipey first turf, makes a ton of sense to at least take a shot on. So the 2, Royal Dusty, was the last one on the ticket for me.
There you go. All right. Well, we're on the same page there with Royal Dusty. Yeah, I don't know. The Pipey angle was the thing that really got me, taking out that horse to the turf. Like you said it, you see it a lot. Get a little prep race into them and then get where they really need to be. So I'm with you there. All right. I used Hello, Kiddo. That was the last one.
No.
Boo. Only once this show, you're like, that's stupid.
Yeah. I mean,
save it to the end.
Boo. I mean, I get it.
Know.
The horse will win, right? And it may be today. I will not have Hello Kiddo when Hello Kiddo wins. I'll just tell you that much, because this horse just consistently runs middling fractions and has excuses, but never wins, and runs in the top. Like, if I'm playing supers, yeah, Hello Kiddo, try super, definitely in the ticket. This horse is going to be too short of a price in the win market.
I don't know. I think maybe the horse might be 9-2. I don't know. It's a large field, and he has had his chances. Listen, last time out, draw a line. He broke through the gate. I mean,
yeah,
he or she, I should say. But
she did, yeah. But the previous 3 races,
well, she was closer then. She almost won those races.
I personally have a vendetta against horses that have been maidens for a long time and just love running in 1 through 3. Because, or two, second and third, because so many people bet these horses, and they just keep running second and third, and they keep betting them to win. They keep betting them in pick 4s and pick 5s, and it's just like, look, until, like, there's a reason the horse is still a maiden when it's clearly one of the most talented horses in the field, and it's because the horse doesn't really like to pass anybody. Horses are herd animals, and some are dominant, some are passive. Hello Kiddo Kiddo is a passive herd animal, and yes, one day she will find the field. But again, I will not be betting Hello Kiddo Kiddo the day that she wins. I can almost guarantee that.
I understand it. We talked about this is at a higher level. This is not. I'm not comparing the horse to Hello Kiddo Kiddo, but a horse like that, Integration, who was in the Manhattan, and
limited liability.
Yep. We both didn't use it, and of course it didn't matter because we didn't get to run those pick fives. But they did run the Manhattan on the turf the next day. And there goes Integration. He's absolutely flying, but guess what? He gets second. And that is just what that horse does in those big races. Now, again, he's one. You drop him down to grade 3s and he wins. But grade 1s, he's just there. He can't get the job done. So, yeah, I'm with you.
I would have been pissed had they run that pick 5. I had the 4 winners going into Baeza. And I obviously didn't have Sovereignty. I didn't think Sovereignty would run that well. But I had Deterministic. Talked about that one going gate to wire. We had AG Bullet, Silver Bullet. Patch Adams wins for fun. The 2 AP Kid was one of my favorite horses on the card. It would have been a great setup, and then obviously would have all collapsed. But still would have been nice to have those races on Saturday.
I would have hit it because I had Sovereignty, and I ended up I had because if you remember when we did the first updates, those races were still going. So I've got the tickets to where I would have hit it. Now I don't think it would have paid a whole lot. But
Deterministic would have made it interesting.
Yes.
And AP Kid was 3-1. I mean, the AP Kid Patch Adams double paid $22. I can tell you that because I had it a lot of times. So that was at least a good start. Then you throw a 5-1 on top of 22, and then AG Bullet. I think you're probably getting over 4 figures.
It's funny because I didn't have AP Kid originally. When that came off the turf and the horses were left, I had to put a nice win bet on him because I thought, man, he looks really good and he's going to handle this. And boy, did he! He absolutely just dominated that race. And yeah, we were right about Patch Adams. That was the horse to use in that race, one of the horses to use in that race, and he ran really well. So
am I officially vindicated? Is Madacat Road the best Bob Baffert horse on this trail? Because I said he was, that he was Bob Baffert's best 3-year-old, and Magic made fun of me for a month straight. He kind of has the best record of any Baffert 3-year-olds now.
I mean, it would have to be him or Rodriguez, but Madacat Road has danced more dances and been more consistent. Yeah.
Just saying, just throwing it out there. That was a nice. That was a $45 exacta too. That was nice.
Yeah, I thought for a second he had it. Didn't you?
I was very worried. I was very worried he was going to beat Patch Adams for a second there. I thought Patch Adams was cooked around the far turn at one point because he wasn't going the way I was expecting, and then he just came through like a beast. I mean, he might end up winning the Breeders' Cup Sprint. I'll say that now. I think he's that talented at one turn.
Well, and like you said it, and I kind of echoed it last week. They got him back to what he does best, and what do you know? He looks like the horse we kind of thought he was going to be. Now that he's where he needs to be, he kind of go ahead.
I swear my favorite angle in horse racing is sprinting off Derby fever. When you have these horses that are awesome sprinting and then they stretch out to 2 turns because they want to go to the Derby and then they cut back and people somehow forget they're awesome sprinting. Yeah. Every single year, it feels like there's at least one of these horses, sometimes 2 or 3. And Patch Adams is just like the perfect example of that.
He is, yeah. And you look at those races we stretch out, you're like, what's wrong with this horse? Well, he didn't want to go that far, as it turns out. So
pretty simple. He showed you who he was at Churchill. Why didn't you believe him?
Hey, and by the way, we talked about how that bit when he beat Big Truz and how good that horse. Hey, he ran pretty well in that race, but he's not as good as Patch Adams.
I will say Rosario off is also now one of my favorite angles because I had 2 winners with Rosario off the horse at Saratoga. It was a 7 horse that switched from Rosario Ortiz and was paid like 12-1 on Saturday. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, wow, look what happens when you put the horse in the right place. Shocker.
Yeah. No argument here. All right, let's read our tickets off here, Simon. I'll let you go first.
All right, 50 cent pick 5 for me. 2-4 with 4-5 with 2-5-7 with 2-3-9. Close it out with 2-6. 10-12 for 50 cents. That's $72.
All right, I'm going to go 1-4 with 4-5 with 3-5-7 with 4-5-7-9 with 1-2-8-12, $96 for that one. All right, I know you probably have to go, but do you have any final thoughts before we get out of here?
I enjoyed this, Aaron. I'm glad we were able to do this today. This was a fun time.
You missed me last week, didn't you?
It was interesting because we usually do the show on Thursday, and then we got the Friday show, VSiN at the Track. We'll be live Friday, tomorrow, 2:15 Pacific. I'm sorry, 2:15 Eastern, 11:15 Pacific over at VSiN Live on YouTube. And we'll talk through 4 stakes races. We'll talk about our best bets for the weekend. A little more reaction from Saratoga. I've been just so used to so much air in my life, though. And so it was nice. And then you text saying you're going to jump on. I think you have to tell the story. You text saying you're going to jump on the show live on Mad Dog Sports Radio. And the next text we get is, I drunkenly snuck a large group of people into the winner's circle and talked to John Velasquez. No. So how about we talk about what you did after the last race at Saratoga?
Well, that day, no, that was Dylan Davis I talked to that day.
Okay.
So, yeah. So we had like Naira gave us like these nice seats, like really good seats, right? So they were like the box, like we had a box, right? So the last race, I mean, guys, there's an hour between some of these races because of the cancellations, and
Are you about to justify how much you drank?
Yeah, yes. It was a very. You could even back me up. It was a very stressful morning trying to.
It was a very stressful morning, and then to take the 2 turf races off, we're both updating products, adding doubles, pick threes, everything, so that we still give out who we like and how we bet the card. And then you eliminate all the pick 4s and pick 5s in the latter part of it, and you've got this track that's changing throughout the day. And you're trying to stay on top of everything. Then you have the extended post times too, where I don't know why, but like race 2 to 3 was 45 minutes, and so you're sitting there a lot, and then you lose 2 races, but the actual time of the day does not change. The time of the races in the day.
So all this, a very stressed person, because, hey, it is one of our biggest days of the year. We've got to get this like as good as we possibly could, which I was proud of us. You and everybody, they did a good job. Well, you and me, I was,
yeah,
I say everybody, it's kind of just us, but,
yeah, good job by you.
But anyway, good. Pat us on the back. But anyway, by about the 9th race, okay, we've explained to people if they had questions, we're emailing them trying to explain, it was over, right? It's like, now we can just have fun, enjoy the races. So yeah, big stress reliever. So the 14th race hits, and it's 4-horse field because they're off the turf. And we've got these passes, and I was like, let's see how far we can get with these. Let's just walk into the paddock right now and act like we own one of these horses. And they're like, the people in our group are like, okay, because we'd all been drinking. Walk right in. Nobody says a word to us. Now, mind you, we're all dressed. You got to dress up, right? So we're like,
you're properly attired to pull this off.
Absolutely. Yeah. We don't have shorts and t-shirts on. So we go in there and we go and stand, with the 14. And I was like, listen, if there's owners are here, just kind of act like, oh, we're just messing around. But if nobody's here, act like we're the owners. Nobody was there. So we were acting like. So Dylan Davis was riding the 14, and I of course had read the past performances, and I knew the 14 was going to take back, make one run. So I go, Dylan, take back, make one run, right? And he's like, yes, sir. And he jumps on the horse. I'm like, this is hilarious. This is great. So we go up to watch the race, and he takes back. And if you remember the race, I don't know if you do or not. The 14, once it came off, it looked like he was going to win.
Yeah, he was a huge standout. Yes.
Yeah, and so that's why I said, guys, act like we own the 14. I think he's going to win. So he wins, and he wins easy. And we're all standing there. I was like, what are you guys doing? We own the horse. Let's go down to the winner's circle, So we're grabbing people. Come on, we own this thing, We just went down there like we owned them. And there were 2 they're younger guys, like college age guys, standing at the rail of the winner's circle. And they're like, man, it's so cool. Look at everybody coming in. And I go, come on, get in here. And the guys are like, we can't go in there. And I went over to the security guard. I said, hey, man, I own this 14 coming in here. These guys are my 2 real good friends. Can you just let them in for this one? And the guy's like, I'm going to let them in, but you better watch them because they've been standing here all day and they're crazy. I said, don't worry about it. I'll watch them. It was great.
I've got it. So have you found the winner's circle photo yet?
This is the best part. We're not in it.
You're not in the photo?
Dude, there's so many people and we're on the edge and they cut us out.
Oh, well, it's still a good story. I swear at a racetrack, if you pretend like you're supposed to be there, you can go anywhere. That is like one of the secrets of the racetrack. If you just act like you're supposed to be there, it's fine. No one will question you.
that's exactly what happened. And I said, when you get to these people, these security people, you just walk right by them like you know exactly what you're doing. They will not stop you. And we had those. We didn't have just any random ticket. Like I kind of thought, yeah, they might they won't care. You know what I mean? And yeah, we just did whatever the hell we wanted. So it was classic. I've never laughed so hard in my life. Yeah. And then I was texting you guys, is like, hey, I'm just going to jump on. And then Patrick said, call in. And then I was like, I can't do that.
Bad idea. Yeah.
I
think we set the line of over or under 6.5 drinks. And I'm like, oh, I'm hammering the over. The over is a huge favorite. I'm 6.5 by that point. And like, cause then I told the story about how you drunkenly walked to your dinner 2 miles away after the races one night in downtown Saratoga. Because you were staying at the Paddock Bar. So I know Aaron at Saratoga and what ends up happening at the end of the day. Not that I'm any better. Not judging. Just saying.
Well, you know me that like it would have taken a lot for me to have those ideas, right? To go to the paddock is one thing, but hey, let's pretend, and then talking to the jock and like Dylan after the race, I sat there and waited on him like I own the horse, you know. I was like, Dylan, you did exactly what you needed to do. That was a great job. He's like, thanks, boss. You know, it was ridiculous.
Do we know who owned the whole 14? Did you ever look it up?
Who owned it? I know I never looked it up. Top Gun Rocket is the name. I know that, but
yeah, I remember it's Top Gun Rocket. Let's see here. That was Saturday. Thanks for everyone who's sticking around here just for story time. We still have almost 500 people checking us out, so appreciate you guys there for Aaron's story time and how he's causing trouble at Saratoga Racetrack. It's not pulling up. That's hilarious. It sucks you weren't in the winner's photo because that would have been a phenomenal. Yeah, there's the Woodinville night too. That night will live in infamy if anyone wants to try and find it on the YouTube page. It's somewhere there, I think. I don't think we deleted it.
No, we didn't. Why would we delete it? Yeah, no, it was this was not Woodinville, but we were drinking whiskey of some regards. I don't remember, but yeah, it was wild. And then the whole next day, I was like, "Go ahead."
Oh, Final Turn Racing Stable. I know who those people are.
Do you really?
I think so.
It's my name.
Yeah, that's hilarious. All right. Well, the plot thickens. We'll have to keep updating this process. I'm gonna see if I can hit him up. I think I know
who
one of the
that
owners.
is for real. Who is it?
We'll talk about it off air. I'm not gonna.
Okay. Okay. Well, with that being said, let's get out of here. All right. Let's get out. All right. I need to know the story. Okay, guys, thanks everybody for joining us once again this week. Sorry it was a little bit late, but we ended up doing a decent enough show, I think. So that's good. So yeah, everybody have a good rest of your week. Check out Samich and I on VSiN tomorrow. And yeah, everybody, good luck if you're playing the sequence. Hope you guys hit it. Hopefully you guys were helped out by the show. So thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you next week.
The Magic Mike Show, where you hear the experts speak. The Magic Mike Show. Tune into the show every week. The Magic Mike Show. You can trust the show is the bomb because it's being brought to you by RacingDudes.com.